Camera action.
Camera. Well, good evening, everyone. The meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Urbana Free Library is starting, and this is Michael's last meeting, and so we want to make this extra good tonight. Lupe is at a conference tonight, so I will be conducting the meeting instead of Lupe. And so with that, we're going to call this meeting to order. So Becky,
Okay.
roll call.
Gloria? Present. Michael?
Here.
Cherise?
Present?
Jane?
Here.
Barb?
Here.
Beth?
Here.
Daniel?
Present.
Okay, and we're missing Mark and
Lupe.
Lupe.
Lupe, yes, Mark and Lupe. Okay, are there any additions, corrections, or modifications of the agenda? Well, do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda.
And do I hear a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Say aye. Any oppo- Any opposed? Well, the motion carries. All right, is there any public comment? Then we will move on to the presentations, and the first one, looking forward to, is the Vega Library Expansion Discovery Solution, and Rachel Fuller and Brian Robertson are here to enlighten us.
All right, fingers crossed, everybody.
We will cross our fingers that it all comes up. Ta-da.
Okay, all right, so good evening, everybody. Brian and I are here tonight to talk with you about an enhancement that will be coming to the library this spring or summer. It is an updated catalog experience, and we'll just give you kind of some basic highlights tonight. So Vega is a patron-facing catalog that will overlay our current catalog. So our current catalog is not going anywhere, and it will be available to staff, but the overlay will be a more user-friendly experience for patrons. That means that our staff will have the option to use Polaris, which is our current catalog. There may be instances in which they want to do that because it is a more powerful search tool and allows us to kind of get at things in a more detailed, nitty-gritty way. But they will also have the ability to use Vega, which will, again, be that positive, upgraded user interface. So a visual way to describe it is we have the Champaign-Urbana catalog, which is Polaris, and then Vega's going to kind of just slide in there in the middle. And then patrons will have 3 different ways that they'll be able to browse the collections between the Champaign and Urbana libraries. They'll have the CU catalog so that they can see both right away, the Champaign catalog, and then they will also have the Urbana catalog. And so they'll have different options. Some highlights. It offers a much more visual catalog experience. We'll show you some examples in a moment. It also includes new features, which we're excited to be able to offer to patrons. So it will offer related resources and topics based on the items that you're looking at. It will also make recommendations like a you might also like. And where it's applicable, it'll show things like the New York Times bestseller list. We also like this catalog because one of the new features it offers is that it groups like materials together. That means that our patrons will be able to more easily see at a glance the different material types that we offer a particular item in. And that feature is known as a roll-up, like it rolls up all the material types together. So it's a little bit small, but this is what you will see when the library goes live with Vega. You can see it's a very kind of simplified, clear user interface, akin to search engines that are particularly popular at the moment. And so if a patron goes in, they'll be able to search this just as they do our normal catalog. Let's say that they search for Diary of a Wimpy Kid, popular children's series, and they look for Wrecking Ball. This is an example of the kind of search result that will come up. And you can see at a glance the roll-up in action. So you can see that we've got Wrecking Ball here. The author's name and the series are blue. That's because they're hyperlinked, so patrons can click on them. That's more dynamic than what they're able to do in our current catalog. And then you're also able to see all of the different material types or formats that we make available for this title. In our current catalog, those items would be displayed kind of visually, and so the patron would need to scroll and scroll and scroll, and then individually click on those items and see, are they available, are they not available? So this very much simplifies that process. So assuming a patron says, oh, like, I'm interested in Wrecking Ball, let me check out a little bit more. If they click on the title of the item, that's where they get some of the new features that we currently don't offer. So in Vega, when an item is part of a series, it will visually display all of the items that are in that series, as well as the number of each item in the series, right, in order. So you could click on the cover of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, or you could click on number 1, and it will automatically take you to that record as well. So you can place a hold or check out the item nice and easy. You'll notice also much more visual experience than what we currently have because it has a lot of cover images. If you scroll a little further down the page, there will be additional information like reading levels. So Lexile, AR, Accelerated Reader, or suggested age ranges, as well as other books that measure at similar Lexile levels. Particularly for our question desk, it's not uncommon for us to have young readers or parents come in and say, hey, I'm looking for a book that's at a 900 Lexile, can you help me with that? And so yeah, absolutely, we're more than happy to help you with that. And also, you will also be able to browse the catalog and have a look and kind of click through in a very dynamic way to see other items that are in our collection. Further down the page, we get into those recommendations. So this is a you may also like, followed by similar series and similar authors. A little further down still, related resources. Naturally, it's showing other books in the series, but for items that are not in a series, it'll show related resources not in a series. General topics that are covered, as well as other juvenile fiction. Further still, you can check out book reviews, as well as professional reviews, and then more information about the author. So really a lot more than what we're currently able to provide, and we're excited about that. It's a nice, easy experience for patrons logging in. So the image on the left is what it will look like when a patron goes to log in, and then the image on the right is what it will look like after they've logged in. You'll notice again some blue text like, in this case, my name, items out, requests, and then fines or fees are all in blue, again, all hyperlinked, which is better than what we currently offer. Patrons can easily log in as well to see their items out, and they can renew and check items in, nice and seamless from there. Another feature we're excited for is the ease and ability for patrons to be able to bookmark items and create resource lists. So in Vega, they'll be able to browse the catalog. Let's say they're interested in traveling to some destinations. They could put in travel books in the search, and then any item that seems of interest to them, they can bookmark it for later, and they can create customized lists at a glance. Within those resource lists, they will also be able to, once they click in, see all of the items they may have added to the list, and they can easily add or remove additional items, move them from list to list, or place items on hold as appropriate. So again, something we're excited to offer everybody. Any questions? Yeah.
The account for it, are you able, is it your same account information that you would use currently, or you have to create a new one?
Oh, it is going to be the same account information. Brian has been hard at work, as have our colleagues at CPL, to make sure that Vega is running smoothly and that transition can be made as smooth as possible. Because Vega is a catalog overlay, it communicates directly with Polaris, so that process should be seamless for patrons.
So I was intrigued saying, and you could even see book reviews. Now, are book reviews part of Polaris?
They are not. So those are actually pulled in from Library Things, so they're pulled in by a third-party vendor.
Okay, because then how dynamic is this? So things are changing all the time, and even book reviews might be changing all the time. So I'm just trying to think where the kind of like the workflow is coming to create the content here.
So Vega updates overnight while we all sleep. It's automagical. But Polaris is live, and so each morning we'd be able to come in and see, has our third-party vendor who's providing the cover images added new cover images? Are there new book reviews that are available? Has the New York Times bestseller list changed? So it's possible that there could be something in real time that we may not see in Vega until the next day, but I figure within 24 hours is pretty good.
That's really darn good. All right, no, thank you. This is very exciting.
This is a small question, but it caught my eye. What does check-in mean?
Check-in. Let me check. Let's see.
It was a few slides back. You had the option to check in up there.
Oh, it's an electronic item, so.
Oh,
She
yes.
checked that out from Overdrive Libby, so you have the option, so it's not a physical copy. So if she was done with it, she could just say check in, and then somebody else can be able to check it out.
Oh, good catch though. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, great catch. I don't think anybody caught that. We presented this like 6 times. Nobody's got that. Yeah, other questions?
Excellent.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so coming probably this spring or summer, again, we want to make sure that everything is in working order, and we have a few items that we'd like the company to roll out before we go live, but coming soon.
Well, thank you for this great work on this.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah, well, and thank you to Brian. His staff and him have, in particular, really done the heavy lifting for Urbana. We
Yeah,
appreciate
just done a lot of trial and error and testing out and putting in tickets and trying to upgrade it to make it best for our patrons and staff.
Wonderful.
So, yeah,
No,
looking forward to it.
thanks, Brian. Okay, now 6.2, I understand, Rachel, you are going to be giving the budgeting process overview? Thanks, Brian.
Yes, with Dawn.
I mean, Dawn.
Yes, this is new information since
Oh,
6:30.
Okay.
So we're winging it here.
We're dynamic, we react, we
We're
flex.
adaptable, flexible.
Yes. So we'd like to speak with you a bit about the budget cycle and process. If my PowerPoint will work. It's working up there. Not a fan.
We love technology.
Sorry, everyone.
It's fine.
There we go. Okay, good. All right, so we'd like to speak with you briefly about the budget cycle for fiscal '24, which is akin to budget cycles that we've had for other years. So it may be more familiar to some than others. But of course, all of the decisions that we make in our budgeting cycle are driven by the vision and mission of the Urbana Free Library. For our newer board members, our vision is nurturing growth by sparking curiosity and fostering a sense of belonging. And our mission is we encourage learning and enrich lives by providing access to diverse resources and programs. And so it is very much with both of these items in mind that we have a look at the library's funds. So when it comes to the library's funds, there are different funds that we look at in the budgeting process and that you all would want to be familiar with. The first of those is our 802s, that's the library's general fund. That's where the bulk of budget items are, things like salaries, collections, etc. 803s, which are the library's special reserve fund. 810s, the library's trust funds or gift funds. And then lastly, the 820s, which are the library's building funds. Sometimes we will spend from a particular fund balance if we're working on special projects or if we have a balance that we're working to lower in any of those categories. Additionally, it may be helpful to know that in some cases for these funds, we may budget to spend funds without actually spending them. So a good example would be our 810 trust fund. The library will sometimes budget a certain amount of gifts to come in, let's say $5,000 for adult book gifts over the course of the year. We would only spend those funds if those gift funds do indeed come in. We know that the library will receive a certain dollar amount, hopefully each year, and we would, again, spend only as it comes in. So resources that admin and management and staff look at when making budget recommendations and putting together departmental budgets include the library's strategic plan and technology plan, the City of Urbana's update for the financial forecast, Serving Our Public 4.0, which is a document of standards for Illinois public libraries, our specific usage and data trends here at the Urbana Free Library during the current fiscal year, the previous fiscal year, and usually several years before that. And then we also make sure that we're looking at community needs and the feedback we're receiving at our service points, via comment cards, online, etc. So in regards to serving our public 4.0, it would be helpful to know that there are percentages that are outlined for Illinois public libraries in terms of how much they should be spending on materials and staffing, etc. We do meet all of those criteria. So places where you can find additional information, because like I said, this is an overview, is the library's website. We make as much information publicly available as possible. And so that's urbanafreelibrary.org/yourrighttoknow. And you will see tiles on our webpage that would allow you to navigate between those. In particular, of interest may be the financial reports and also the library's planning documents. So again, all publicly available. In terms of calendar or timeline, in March, the board receives generally a present. Did I miss something?
She has notes about the.
Okay, great. Yeah, so in March, there is this presentation. And prior to this presentation, in January, the library submitted a request for funding to the Urbana Free Library Foundation, which was approved at their February meeting. March is the presentation to the board here. April, you will receive a draft budget that has been created in partnership with management and admin. And then in May, the board will have the opportunity to, after reviewing and asking questions at the April board meeting, have the option to approve the budget. Once the library's budget is approved, then it moves forward to City Council. Okay, so questions. I know it's a broad overview, and we thank you for your patience as we cobble that together.
I think it's pretty straightforward, and you present it in a very nice, clear fashion. I especially like when you always have a problem remembering which fund goes where, and just seeing them all lined up nicely like that is very helpful.
Well, thank you very much.
Right, thank you. Wait, computer up again. Okay. We are going to move on to 7.0, the action items for the consent agenda. First, would anyone like to remove anything? And then next, does anyone have any corrections to the minutes? Okay, hearing none, I will be looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda, and these items consist of the board meeting minutes of February 14th, 2023, the payroll for February 24th, 2023, with a total of $111,451.74, payroll for March 10th, 2023, totaling $110,211.41, bills for February 16th, 2023, totaling $56,337.66. Bills for February 23rd, 2023, totaling $23,622.95. Bills for March 3rd, 2023, totaling $39,008.88. And bills for March 10th, 2023, totaling $16,675.94. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Move approval of the consent agenda.
Okay. It was, I think I heard a motion from Gloria, but that was a second then. Jane is a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries. Now, we have a number of individual action items, and the first one is the resolution 2023-02 to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with Omnia Partners. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, so moved by Michael, second? Was that, Jane, was that you seconding?
I'll second.
Okay. All right, 8.2, Resolution 2023-03 to enter into participation agreement with Sourcewell. Do I have a motion?
Vote.
Oh, thank you. Moving right along here. Let's go back to Resolution 8.1, and let's vote all in favor of approving Resolution 8.1. Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Now, back to 8.2, Resolution 2023-03 to enter into participation agreement with Sourcewell. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Move.
Okay, and a second?
I think Barb seconded.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
Let's get about discussion.
Hey, oh, I think no.
Hello, bring the gravy in.
Next is resolution, if anyone's any discussion, just please speak up. Okay, next item, 8.3, resolution 2023-04 to enter into an interlocal agreement with Region 8 Education Service. So do I hear a motion to approve?
I move to approve it.
Okay, and Daniel seconding, thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Moving on to action item 8.4. That's resolution 2023-05, an agreement for engineering services with IMEG Corporation. Motion to approve?
Move approval of resolution.
Do we, that's right, vote again? Okay, we did, all right. Sorry. Yeah,
I just had a question about that one.
yeah,
That was
okay,
For the IMEG one.
okay, the IMEG one, all right, here, Daniel, let me pull that one up over here, let me go down. Okay, let me find it. Well, go ahead and ask your question while.
That was $12,000 just to assess whether or not we need it?
It's, they have to figure out what we need to do so they can design the air handler. So they need to come in and look at the systems and what we have currently, and then there's also
So
the
it's-
added fun of, we are hoping that the return air ducts, which line the north and south side of the circulation area, and take up a good 2 to 3 feet of space, if they can figure out a way, while we're doing the remodel, to relocate those air returns, we will gain about 6 feet of space all along the north and south line. So is that possible? We want them to explore that because it will gain us a ton of space in that area. So, IMEG happens to work a lot with Engberg Anderson, and has, I think, 30-plus libraries in their proposal that they've worked with, so they're quite familiar with libraries in general. So I think they'll be, and it was, I believe, a not to exceed.
Right.
So it
Yeah.
could come in.
So that would
Much
potentially
less than that.
include that actual redesign though, not just assessing if it's feasible or if it's just the assessment?
It's been a while since I looked at it. I cannot say for sure. I think it's mostly like,
Let's see.
it's kind of like they have to come down, they have to do, have a meeting on site. Okay, there aren't the mechanical drawings. We have blueprints, but we do not have drawings of the mechanicals.
Okay.
So they're a little bit behind terms of the information that they have to start.
Good questions. Anything else? Okay, and it does say not to exceed 12,000, so it is a not to exceed there. Okay, now thank you for that. So now, did we make a motion to approve this? Okay, so I'm looking for a second for this motion. Okay, there's Jane. Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. All right, now for the most important resolution I saw on this agenda. And let me pull it up here, and this is Resolution 2023-06 to thank Michael Weissman for his years of service. And I'm going to read this. Whereas Michael Weissman has been a trustee of the Library Board of the Urbana Free Library since November 2015, and whereas during his tenure, the Urbana Free Library approved extensive changes to the circulation and interlibrary loan policy that removed checkout restrictions on child library cards, expanded lending limits and renewals for greater patron access, and removed fines for overdue materials, launched new collections, including musical instruments and hands-on literacy, math and science kits, launched new services, including 3D printing, and increased the number of days the Teen Open Lab is available each week, incorporated the Chanute Collection and the News Gazette Collection in the Champaign County Historical Archives, began a building program, and whereas the Urbana Free Library supported its community and staff during the COVID-19 pandemic by providing new services like curbside pickup, the Seed Lending Library, and e-library cards, increasing staff benefits, including paid COVID-19 leave, paid sick leave for hourly employees, and paid parental leave for benefited staff. And whereas the library has deepened relationships with other community organizations to serve Urbana residents by approving the IGA with the Urbana School District 116 to include students residing outside the library's taxing district boundaries, and Urbana School District 116 certified staff and licensed support staff who serve students, partnering with the Cunningham Township Supervisor's Office to provide greater access to printing, copying, faxing, and notarizing services for their clients, as well as offering library cards to people the Cunningham Township has vetted as being without a home while residing in Urbana, partnering with Care for You and the School of Information Sciences at Illinois to expand student professional opportunities. And whereas Michael was a library board representative on the strategic planning process team during the fiscal year 20 through 2023 strategic plan, which guides the work of the library to embrace, enrich, empower, and enhance the Urbana community. Now therefore be it resolved by the Urbana Free Library Board of Trustees, Urbana, Illinois, as follows. Section 1, recognition and thanks. The Board of Trustees hereby recognizes and sincerely thanks Michael Weissman for his years of service to the Urbana Free Library and its residents as a Board of Trustees member. Section 2, notification of resolution. The board hereby directs that a signed copy of this resolution be presented to Michael, and it's adopted by the Board of Trustees today on the 14th of March 2023. So first of all, may I ask whether there's a motion to approve this resolution?
I move to approve the resolution.
And is there a second?
Second.
And before we vote, there is a little bit of a discussion, and I just want to personally thank Michael for his time. I've thoroughly enjoyed serving on this board with you. I appreciate all the wisdom you've brought. I have learned more about geothermal energy, and I really appreciate that because I can speak a little more intelligently about this when it comes up in conversation due to your wonderful influence. I also appreciate how early on how you took a very holistic interest in all parts of the library, the wellness of the staff, the richness of the collection, the state of the facilities. I mean, just really the whole package. So I'm just very grateful for the time that I got to serve with you. So let's say thank you, just personally. And with that, all in favor of approving this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. And Michael, do you have anything you want to say?
I didn't really contribute to any of that stuff that was in the resolution, but, I hope I contributed a few wisecracks along the way.
No, but thank you very much. Okay, we are moving to 8.6, Resolution 2023-07, the formal contract with Stark Excavating Incorporation. So do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Move approval.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question about that?
You can certainly, yes. So go ahead, Daniel.
Because that one is such a larger amount, just curious, I'm sure this is probably already the case, but it's already allocated from like building fund, like there's already
Yeah.
funds
this-
like specifically set aside for that.
And it's been set aside since before the pandemic. We almost started at the pandemic, and then it just got delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. And boy, is it needed, so.
Yeah, I know.
And as much money as it is, they were the low bidder. We had like 7 different bids, and they were the low bidder.
Amazing. Is it good enough?
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's vote. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. All right, and now for my favorite. This is approving paying the Ameren invoice for $10,692.13. We still aren't quite under that 10,000 level, so we as a board must approve this. So do I hear a motion to approve?
I
So
move
moved.
it.
Okay, okay,
Go ahead, you did.
all right, and second?
I'll second.
All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? The motion carries.
May I give the board an update?
You may certainly do that.
So I got an email that says that we are now part of the, a cooperative, through the city. And I believe that the electricity supply, the new rate, is gonna go into effect with the meter reading that is as of March 23rd, like give or take a couple of days. So that's the electricity supply. And then just last week, we got into part of their agreement with the gas supply, which is gonna, I believe, take the cents per therm from around 75 down to around 50. So hopefully, starting next month, the bills will start to go down, but it just feels really good to know we're part of those agreements again. And we'll start to see some savings.
Dawn, you can give those updates anytime. Yeah, I appreciate that. Really love
So the
it.
electric cooperative then, sounds like it's better than the one for residential now.
I'm
I'm
not in
hoping,
a resident,
because
so I
ours-
can't speak to that. I don't
Ours
know.
just went much
But,
higher.
it's certainly better than we are getting.
Better than it's getting currently.
So,
Good.
hopefully, like I said, if the meter reading is still to come, I mean, it's another, over a week away until that starts, but, yeah. It's
Great.
coming.
Now that is. Okay, 8.8, that's the FY23 budget amendment. So first, I'll ask, there is information, of course, in the director's report. So I will ask, is there a motion to approve?
Move
So
to,
moved.
Okay.
I'll
And then,
second.
okay, Sharice will second. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, the motion carries. So 8.9 is the compensation of the executive director in FY24. We're asking you to approve a cost of living plus a step as the compensation for the executive director. This is following from our closed session. So I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I move to
So
approve.
moved.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, moving on to discussion items. Michael, in his last meeting, he is going to tell us about artificial intelligence and its impact on libraries.
I should start right off by saying I really don't know what the impact on libraries will be, but the point of this is to just give a heads up that there's probably going to be some impact.
Okay.
So how many of you, how many of you sort of used GPT or one of those things so far?
I tried it out for giggles.
Yeah, exactly. We don't use it on a regular basis yet.
So I just think that this is going to be a big change in the basic way people think, use, and use media, similar to many other changes that have occurred in the past. And as with any big change in the ways people communicate, access information, there's going to be an interesting mix of pluses and minuses. This has been true for a long time. You know, famous remark of Socrates that you got to watch out for writing because it's going to be sort of a crutch that's going to interfere with how people think. We know that because Plato wrote it down. And you know, I think it's been true with every stage since then. And I think Socrates was, you know, had a point, but nonetheless, writing is good. So let me sort of say some of the things that I think that this technology might be really useful for the library. One is it does great translation of anything, real quick. So I took that remark from Socrates and just said, give it to me in Greek. I'm sure that's different from the original Greek, but it's still Greek. Tried it in Spanish, tried it in Vietnamese, just cranks it all out real quickly. Tried it in Chinese. You know, I have no idea what that, but presumably it's right because when I asked it, I gave it that and said, can you give me the English version of that? It gave the thing back correctly. So potentially, you know, we really had two things in the last strategic plan that were, you know, not just slogans. One was that we needed to address the sort of linguistic diversity in the community. Another was we needed to do more stuff for youth. And this might open a path to really make things available to people with, you know, speak Portuguese, Vietnamese, you name it. Because you can imagine sort of having a big screen and come in and you can communicate with staff in basically any language if you need to. And maybe our electronic materials can all be accessed in any language because it'll do the translation. I mean, it's not the first translation program, but it works well. It can give you all sort of information. You just ask it, tell me about the early history of the University of Illinois. It just starts typing. It gives you pretty good stuff. I mean, in some ways it's not that different from Wikipedia, but it's kind of easier to use for people that aren't particularly computer savvy. It can help give you information. I just typed in, where can I find good information on the early history of Champaign County? It didn't mind that I misspelled history. Tolerated that. And it starts right off saying, well, several resources, including Champaign County Historical Archives in the Urbana Free Library. So, you know, it's great that it knows that and gives us credit. And this sort of stuff is going to be really useful to people. And on the other hand, so it gives these sources of information, but you can't trust it. If you Google fake references in ChatGPT, you can find things where people ask it medical questions and it gives a nice argument with all the supporting material. Every reference is fake. made up, you know, George Santos type stuff. And so, you know, I just grabbed one of these, that's so detailed, gives you exactly the names, the author, the link to it, and every single one of these references here is made up. It's not like you got a name a little bit wrong. They don't exist. And it's very self-confident about telling you. So we're probably gonna have some encounters with people who are looking for things that don't exist. And you can Google it yourself. If you want to look, just Google fake references, ChatGPT, you'll find a big list of people who are shocked that these exist. It seems so smart, but it can make incredibly stupid errors, like getting in an argument with somebody who wanted to see the movie Avatar, and it said, well, you can't see it yet because it's opening December 16th, 2022, and now it's February 12th, 2023, so you'll have to wait about 10 months. They got an argument where the person was saying, no, that was the path. It's like, no, so this brilliant thing just can be unbelievably dumb. It might save the library board a bit of effort. I asked it, I'd like a mission statement for a public library in a mid-sized, ethnically diverse Midwest college town. And it turns out a bunch of rhetoric basically identical to ours, but only in a few seconds rather than having to have a committee talking for a long time. And if you do want slogans, you know, little cute slogans, I said, I'd like a list of 10 verbs to summarize the goals of a public library that starts in educate, inform, entertain, empower, blah, blah, blah. Very much like us, but it didn't get the point, which is we wanted them all to start with E. So I said, well, you know, give me a list of 10 that all start with the letter E. So right away, educate, empower, engage, enrich, entertain, equip. So that's how it works. They aren't always nice. One of these things got in an argument with somebody, Bing, not ChatGPT, where they started making threats from, you know, let me just, for those who haven't done it, just see if I can get this to run. It should know, just on it should know. So,
And what is this called again?
this one is called ChatGPT. Well, the internet here may be working kind of slow. You know, this is not, this is just it. I mean, this is just our internet.
Is this the same program that now has college professors?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
searching and everything because these papers that kids are turning in seem
Yeah,
to be
so
way too
the-
perfect?
Yeah, it is. And our internet is slow, so this is working great at home. But you can try typing it yourself. Give me a mission statement. Give me a strategic plan. Its version of the strategic plan, by the way, I asked for that. It was kind of dull and not very useful, but
Well, if you're lazy, nobody, you know, if you don't want to have
yeah.
to think it
Well,
out
it was
yourself.
a little long-winded in that it did things that we'd already done. Would have taken a little longer to communicate. No, we already did those parts. Give me the rest. But mission statement just came out basically identical to ours. So that's really all I wanted to say. Brevity is good, but so I don't know what the impact is going to be. Except I feel like this is a big transition. These things are just getting started. It's going to be a huge thing. Everybody's been using it, and I won't say it's like the invention of books, but I think that this is some way or other that I don't know is going to have a big impact on how libraries operate, and see how it goes. Yeah.
Can we see your last slide?
Oh, yes. If what was?
You've all been so interested.
Whoops. End of slideshow. It says. Oh, this is where I said give me a strategic plan, like I said, it was a little long-winded and not, a bunch of the stuff was kind of too obvious and really, our strategic plan was a little more focused than that, in that we knew where we were starting. So you probably have to have a conversation with it where you say, skip points 3 and 5, and then, okay, I'm ready for point 6. Again, before I have the strategic plan. So, but I think that the communication in all sort of languages might be an actual positive thing that could happen soon. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael, that was very interesting for
Yeah,
me.
yes, thank you. I mean, I like the way you kind of laid it out there and, you know, use illuminating examples that we can all relate to, like library.
You can have a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. This is going to change the way things are done, and yeah, I do think we're just at the beginning. Just, yeah, getting started. So thank you, very, very appreciate that. Okay, we're going to section 10, reports, and if we have a friends report? I don't think so. And then, I don't know, do we have a foundation report at all,
Yeah, I
Gloria?
just have a few quick items.
Okay.
Library staff this month worked to get the foundation up to new MasterCard processing standards for recurring gifts. It's good to be up to date with that. At our February meeting, we approved the library's budget request for FY '24, which Rachel alluded to earlier, and also approved the 990 for 2021. We also created a framework to support the creation of 2 committees, an events committee and a donor development committee, which will allow for more focused, dedicated foundation member work in both of those areas. And then as of February 7th, the foundation has raised nearly $80,000 to date in FY '23.
Wow.
Wow, nice, wonderful.
Mhm.
Thank you, appreciate that report, Gloria. Okay, and then 10.3, anything from Heartland?
There is an update. I told you all about how IHLS is exploring automated materials handling, and we weren't sure how that was going to impact us. And they have since posted that if they were to go forward with it, it will only be for shared libraries. So the big consortium, not consortium, but the big shared catalog that a lot of the libraries use. We, of course, have our own catalog, and they said that non-share items will be hand sorted. So this will not greatly impact us, thank goodness.
That's good, because, yeah. All right, no, another good update. Okay, great. No, thank you, appreciate that. Okay, the administrative report, Dawn, you're gonna tell us a little about the Cirque AV and Megan's room remodel?
Yeah, we had a 5-hour meeting with the architects. They came down and did an on-site visit last Wednesday. And we walked around to all the different areas. They asked us about our goals for it, challenges, all of those things. And they went back and they took pictures so they could remember everything. And they said it should not be too long before they have some things for us to look at, some options for us to look at. So we, just talking with the staff who were there, including Rachel, we thought it was really positive, and we're all excited to get started.
Excellent, no, me too. I think we're excited to see what's gonna come. So great, thank you for that. Let's see, I think no board and committee reports, no board president report. Is there any unfinished business? Is there any new business? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So
And a second, there we are. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, everyone. And Michael, we're gonna miss you next month.
Yes, we
Again,
are.
thank you again.
Maybe I'll send it to